Hey guys, welcome to Desert Brutality 2022. Today we are taking a look at my main run through the match, which I did all dressed up as a Finnish soldier here, a Finnish reservist as it were. So I started on stage 3, by the way, so we'll go 3 through 7 and then circle back to stages 1 and 2 at the end. And I am starting with the classic Kasarda drill, something that is an element of every Brutality match, at least every single one so far. The idea, of course, is you throw the kettlebell, shoot from where it lands, and repeat until you make it all the way to the end of the course. And I really actually did quite well here with the even with the fact that my kettlebell was not really rolling. I had a lot of throws just like that one where it lands and just digs itself in. I am shooting here for a rifle, a Valmet M62. This is the semi-auto copy of the Finnish standard service rifle in 7.62 by 39. They're relatively scarce in that caliber in the US because in the 1980s when the stuff was being imported, there wasn't a whole lot of 7.62 by 39 in the US. And so most people decided to buy them in 5.56, not the authentic Finnish caliber. So I am a little bit careful setting that thing down each time because it is a kind of valuable rifle, and I want to minimize the amount of aesthetic damage that I do to the Finnish over the course of this match. And it ended up being just fine. But great rifle for the stage. It's a fun stage. I'm always happy to start with this one because it's a stage that I know pretty well and I'm pretty good at. So 11th out of 174 overall shooters, really pretty hard to complain about that. Now, let's get into some slightly more difficult shooting. The idea here is a very simple one. We have a very small rifle target, which I have some trouble hitting. That's not the rifle, that is very definitely me. And then we have a substantially larger pistol target, and in between the two, you have to drop that, I believe it is a 30-pound kettlebell, over a couple of barrels. So it is simply a matter of hit the rifle target, drop the kettlebell, hit the pistol target, and repeat until you have 8 hits with each weapon. For the pistol, I am shooting also a Valmet. This is a Valmet L-35. This was the standard, well, one of the standard Finnish service pistols through the Winter War and the Continuation War. They're very cool. They're mechanically almost identical to the Swedish M40s made by Husqvarna that were licensed from the Finns. And what I have done with camo and web gear here for this match is I'm wearing Finnish M91 camo, which is a lightweight woodland camouflage pattern that was introduced, like it was used predominantly by the Finnish soldiers who deployed to Kosovo in the 90s. The idea was they had the M62 reversible winter and summer camo up to that point, and that was awfully heavy, hot stuff for wearing in the Balkans. And so they came up with a lighter weight pattern, which was used really not for all that long before it was replaced by the current M05. A variety of headgear here that I'll go through. It is early in the morning when I'm shooting this stage, so I'm still wearing the M91 Ushanka, which is pretty cool. The web gear is Finnish M62 pattern. It's classic, heavy, old, clunky canvas. The mag pouch doesn't have dividers. Originally, this would have been run where you have a belt and suspenders, of course, and it's a nice heavy leather and canvas waist belt. And normally, you would have 2 5-magazine AK pouches. What I've done is used one of them for AK mags, and I have replaced the other with a Swedish M40 Lahti holster that happily I was able to sort of strap onto the Finnish web gear without any trouble. That Finnish gear is kind of cool in that it uses sort of like proto-Mali attachment methods. You have an attachment strap. Now, here I'm going to try the open sights. That is, in fact, a terrible idea. They do not help at all. So back to the standard apertures. Just have to work on my shooting. This is by far my worst stage of the whole match in this run. Anyway, the web gear attaches by having a leather strap that sort of weaves through very actually kind of Mali-like openings in the various pouches and such. And so I was able to, as you can see there on my left hip, strap the Swedish Lahti holster on, which allows me to use it reasonably well. It is sort of cross-draw because I'm left-handed, but whatever, it works. We are getting towards the end of this stage. Happily, I did not time out. I did manage to complete it. One thing I discovered on this stage, I had not done very much shooting at all with that Lahti pistol coming into the match, and it is really nice. I definitely had more trouble with the rifle on this stage than I did with the pistol. And again, that's me. That's not the rifle. The rifle is quite accurate and perfectly reliable, and overall fantastic. I've even got a couple of the Finnish plastic AK mags for it. All right, that I believe was my last rifle hit. We got one more. This thing's like a laser. It's awesome. Boom. There we go. So 115th out of 174. Not so great, but hey, I didn't time out. The stages in this match are all 240-second par time, which is a nice little addition over the regular 180-second par times. Here, I am shooting at 3 clay pigeons on the backstop, but you do it standing on a wobbling platform. So if you take a look at the bottom of the screen, you can see that this platform is held up by 4 cables, and it's got me wobbling around, and that made things with the rifle substantially more difficult. So the first one was the worst. I get the others much more quickly. Then we're going to unload and ground the rifle. And for the rest of the stage, I have to take this weighted sandbag. I don't know exactly what that weighed, but it was probably something like 40 pounds. You have to carry that with you. So you bring it to the second bay here, drop it on the ground anywhere you want in the bay, and then clean this plate rack, which sounds pretty easy until you have a single stack 8-round pistol. And by the way, you can only take out 1 plate from each position. So you get to hit one from the left, and then you have to hit the next one from underneath, and then you have to hit the one after that from the right. And then you go back to the left and continue. And occasionally you get lucky and have multiple plates fall like that. That is actually why there's a static plate on this stage. You can't see it right behind the prop there. There you go, there it is. So at the end, I will have to make a couple of, well, one, I believe, make-up shot on that plate to account for the freebie that I got falling off the rack. And only had to do 1 magazine change here, which is nice. Yep, there you go. That's the make-up shot to account for my freebie plate. Now we're going to unload, show the pistol clear, and grab the sandbag and continue to the third bay. I have to reholster this thing in the super clunky flap holster. I decided just to sort of underarm the sandbag instead of going over the shoulders this time. We bring it to the third bay. This is a little simpler. Drop it again wherever you like. And then there are 4 steel pistol targets here, 2 big ones, 2 small ones. And you have to go through and hit all 4 from the left, from underneath, and from the bottom after taking a glacially slow amount of time to find a magazine, get the pistol out of the holster, and get it loaded. I mean, can't really complain about that. 4 for 4. It's an old pistol. It's a heavy pistol. It's a pistol that's got actually quite good sights that are perfectly zeroed, and it is really a pleasure to shoot. There are known issues with Lahti pistols cracking in a couple places inside if they are used with overpowered ammo, and that would be specifically submachine gun ammo. The Finns did have higher pressure ammo for Suomis and M44 submachine guns, and it's really pretty important that you not use that stuff in the pistols because the pistol is not designed for it. As long as you use standard normal pressure 9mm, not a problem. So kind of middle of the road performance for me on that stage, although quite good compared to the other people in my iron sight division. Now, here we're shooting at clay pigeons again, but this time I'm doing it from the ground instead of a wobbling platform, and I am able to be much more effective at it, as you can see. So there's a total of 5, and you have to move between shooting boxes with each hit. So kind of do a little dance around in a circle there. Unload, show clear, again ground the rifle, and we're again going to move to the next bay. Do have to crawl under the table en route. I could normally go faster than this, but I didn't think to wear gloves, and I didn't want to shred my hands on the rocky ground here in St. George, Utah. So this looks pretty familiar from the last stage. It's again 4 pistol targets, hit one little failure to fully cycle there. We'll just clear that out. Not sure exactly what the problem was, but you know what? It's like a 75-year-old pistol, so we'll cut it some slack here. So hit one plate from each position, and then you run up to the front plate and you have to hit the hostage taker head target from that close-in box. What you do first is actually you pull the magazine first. So I have one round in the chamber, then I pull the magazine. I have one shot to make this hit. It's a penalty if you miss. It's a worse penalty if you hit the hostage. You can then reholster the pistol, move to the next stage, once again crawling under the table obstacle en route, and we will finish off the stage here. This one is, it's again pretty much the same thing. There's 3 shooting boxes, 5 targets. Hit 1 target from each box. And again, glacially slow pace to get this thing actually loaded up. But once I do, it shoots pretty darn nicely. You can see that heavy duty canvas and leather combination web gear system there. It is pretty clunky. It does work. It was secure. Nothing ever fell off my gear, but not the world's lightest weight web gear, just empty. There we go. Another reasonably decent stage, halfway up the iron sight division. All right, this is a pistol only stage, and I got a bonus plate right off the bat there. It just fell off when I activated that thing. But I think from this performance, I'm not really concerned that I would have had trouble hitting it, even if it hadn't. So once again, we are going to unload the pistol, we're going to pull the magazine. So I've got one shot. Now the pistol is known 100% empty. I can then move to the next bay, grab a new mag out of my pocket. You know, most people with modern pistols didn't have to deal with reloading between each bay here. Now this one I found kind of fun. A lot of people found this stage very challenging. There are 5 shooting boxes and 2 targets. And what you have to do is get 1 hit on each target. Then you can move forward to the next box, get 1 hit on each target, move forward, etc. until you get 2 hits from the very front box. However, the hitch is if you miss, like that, you have to go back a box and clear that box again. So this is a stage where there's a certain skill level at which it is feasible and a certain skill level below which it becomes incredibly frustrating and impossible. I think I have one of these magazines that's just not happy, and I never did manage to isolate which one it was. At any rate, there we go. This is now box number 4. Hit and hit, and the very last box. But even when we finish this box, we are not yet done, because I now have to unload, make 1 more hit for a penalty if you miss. Now again, the pistol is known 100% safe and unloaded, and I can run to the 3rd and final bay of this stage, where you have to do the same thing once again. The boxes this time are in a sort of a diagonal line, but the setup is identical. So load up the pistol, 1 hit on each target, and then you can advance. Oh, there we go. I made another miss. However, I'm in the very first box, so I don't have to retreat from the first box. I just have to continue trying until I make 2 hits in a row. This is a stage that I was really concerned about going in, and I tell you what, the sights and the handling of this Lahti are substantially better than I was afraid they might be. And it's a great pistol to shoot. And I had a really good time overall on this stage because I was able to do it with, okay, slight spoiler here, we're almost done. I was able to do it with only 1 retreat through the entire stage. There were a lot of people who timed out on this stage completely. So there we go. 4th in irons and 61st overall. Now, this is the long-range rifle stage. This is rifle only. You have to start with the rifle slung. That's the only time you actually use the sling in the match. No, I'm sorry, there is one on the next stage. But start slung, get yourself over those water barrels, load the rifle up, and there are 3 targets downrange. There are 2 half-size silhouettes and 1 full-size. And on the way down the stage here, you have to hit each target once from each position. So there we go. Gauge safety. Now we'll move to the barricade. You have to shoot from underneath this barricade. The first one was freestyle, but not shooting it prone is just stupid. So here we'll make hits on each of the 3 targets again. There's 1. There's 2. And almost. There's number 3. The aperture sights on this were really nice. The Rk62 is a heavy enough AK. It's a milled AK that the recoil is not a thing.
Right.
So now from the table, you have to shoot over the table and again get hits on all 3 targets. As we move further and further down the bay, these hits get easier and easier, although I still rush a few of them. Now, rifle stays on the table. You can go over or under the table. I thought it was much more fun to go over. And we advance to the 4th and final shooting position. This one is also freestyle. I want to make sure that I get good, solid hits rather than try and save time by doing this standing. So now that we're at the end, you're going to hit the left and the right small targets first. And then, as you've seen in previous stages, I'm going to pull the magazine and I have 1 shot to make on the middle target. It's a penalty if you miss it. I hit it. Now we're going to retreat back up the stage, shooting from all the same positions. So of course, since I pulled the mag and fired the 1 round in the chamber, we know the rifle is empty, so the 180-degree safety rule doesn't apply until I reload it. So once again from the table, hit the left. There. And then you have to move between these because that front barricade obscures your view of having both of the small ones at the same time. Now 1 shot to make the center target. And it's hit. So again, rifle is known empty. We don't have to worry about where it's being pointed. Go back under this barricade, turn around and engage the targets from underneath it, just like on the way up. I've still got plenty of ammo in this mag, so I'm not worried about switching yet. Got my 3 hits to make here. No, come on. You do actually have to make the hits. There's 1. There's the other. 762 by 39 makes a real nice clank when it hits that steel. There we go. So this time I abandoned the magazine because it was basically empty. I don't know exactly how many rounds, but it was low enough that I would rather pull a new mag out of the mag pouch to have ready. So get back over the water cans and make 3 hits from the very last position. And then the stage is complete. See if we can do this. 1. We had a lot of people time out at this position. Yes. Come on. Come on. There we go. Pretty happy with this one. 21st place out of 174 competitors. It felt slow, but it was pretty good comparatively. Stage 2 is the other stage we had here that was closest to a longer range stage. There are 2 small plate targets downrange, and there are 4 barrels in the square. Hit both plates, move to the next barrel, rinse and repeat. So these early shots are the harder ones. And almost. Still almost. Come on. No. It is still a small target and iron sights. So I'm holding onto my pocket here because my pocket is loaded to the brim with Lahti pistol magazines because there is a pistol section on a spinner at the end of the stage. And that's the part that I'm really concerned about as I'm going through this. I figured I can make these rifle hits really without any problem. And I do. I rush a few of them, and they're not the cleanest set of shooting ever. But I get those hits. Now we're going to run to the front barrel, where you have to spin the spinner with your rifle. Now, 762 by 39, this should be pretty easy. It should take like 3 or 4 shots. Then I'm going to move up to like 15 yards, and I have to engage it with my pistol. My clever plan here is to try and get it spinning really fast, so it'll still be moving when I get to it. So I actually took an extra shot there to try and speed up the spinner, but it missed. So so much for that plan. And at that point, I figured, screw it. We'll just do what we can. So first, get these 2 plates, which are easy peasy with the Lahti. And then, now it's the part I'm worried about. It is finish off the spinner. I had 6 rounds in the pistol at the point where I got to this stage. It was still moving. And I managed to actually spin the thing with 6 rounds, actually with 5 rounds, which was fantastic and really cool. And as you can see, 6th out of 174 shooters overall, even with just iron sights, I did really well. Took 23rd overall in the match, which was a fantastic result, definitely better than I had been anticipating. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed this second look through Desert Brutality 2022. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.